Move on.
Hi, I'm Tom Payne. I play Rob Cole in Medicus, which is in cinemas this week. And here is a short clip.
Der Tod wird ihn holen. Du hast den Tod gefühlt. Ja. Der größte Medicus, den die Welt je gesehen hat, lehrt dort. Seine. Die Pest unterscheidet nicht zwischen Arm und Reich. Soll es eine Drohung sein, Engländer? Keine Drohung. Das ist die Wahrheit.
And now I'm going to take a little walk around the store and show you some films which I enjoy. So, first film is Good Will Hunting. Because this film, for me, represents a lot of what's great about movies. Really, it was Matt Damon and Ben Affleck had been struggling for a while, and they put the script together themselves based on their own personal experiences, which really helps give the film a huge amount of heart and soul. And then they got the casting absolutely right with Robin Williams, and my co-star from Medicus, Stellan Skarsgård, actually is also in the film. And I just really enjoy how honest and pure, emotionally pure the film is. And I think it has a lot of truth to it because of the two guys that wrote it. Actually, it chimed with me quite a lot. Not that I'm comparing myself to Will Hunting, but there's a point in the movie where Robin Williams' character not lectures, but gives a big speech to Will about how, I bet you could tell me this fact or that fact, but I bet you couldn't tell me what it smells like in the Sistine Chapel. And for me as a young man, that meant a lot because I was totally that guy who was like, well, I can tell you this and I can tell you that, but yeah, you don't have any life experience as a young man. And it was that emotional truth that really makes the movie work, I think, and really takes the audience with the main characters. And for me, that's a really good, heartfelt movie. And moving on, it's an entirely different movie, which actually in German is great because it's Sieben. Which is so cool because it sounds even more malevolent than seven, the English word. This movie was the first movie that I ever saw which had an incredibly downbeat ending, and rather than make me depressed or upset, I came away going, wow, that is so cool. I was so invested in that movie, and then it wasn't afraid to have this incredibly downbeat ending where the bad guy won, pretty much. And throughout the movie, I won't give anything away if you haven't seen it, but throughout the movie, the bad guy always has the upper hand. And you feel very much for Brad Pitt's character and Morgan Freeman's character, you're with them trying to solve the crime. And then the bad guy appears towards the end of the movie and is still enacting his plan, even though you think that the good guys have got the upper hand. And then it has this amazing ending, which you're just not expecting at all, but then you realise with Brad Pitt's character what's happened as he realises it on screen. So it's the most amazing communal moment for when you're watching the film that I haven't really experienced anything like that, where you're in the character's shoes as the film is happening. So that was a big deal for me. And I read actually that Brad Pitt had it in his contract that they didn't change the ending because he knew that the ending was so powerful and so strong that it would make the movie. And it did. It's an enduring favourite. It's like a perfect crime movie, serial killer movie. Oh yeah, cool. Okay. So this is a movie which I watched over and over and over again when I was a kid. And I had it on a VHS, and I taped it off the television, so it still had all of the commercials and everything on the VHS. I guess this is like the beginnings of me as an actor as well. It's very, because it's a musical, so it's very cinematic in a sense, but it was taken from the stage play. And actually, when I went to go and see the stage play, I was a bit disappointed because the movie was my main experience of the film. And I just enjoy the fact that it is based off a stage play. And you can tell that when you watch it, but they still made it very cinematic. And the songs and the dance routines are the center of the piece. I didn't really enjoy Les Miserables recently because they made it a lot about the acting, which was great, and I thought the performances were great. But actually it's a musical, and I wanted to hear the songs, and I wanted to hear how great the songs are, which they are. And in this film, and in fact in this film, they overdubbed the singing just to make sure that the songs really jumped out and were brilliant, and they work fantastically. And the most amazing thing about this is that they managed to make dancing look kind of butch and manly, and because they were all in the gangs at the beginning. And I remember dancing around. It has this brilliant beginning where there's these wide shots of the playgrounds, and then they start with the whistling, and it brings you into the story in such a cool way that they made a musical appear very cool and street to a young man. And
and also tried to reenact like that.
I've totally. There's a move. I'm not going to do it now, but there is a song in it. I can't remember what the song's called. It's like "Cool Boy" or something, and they do these great sequences where they're all dancing together, and it just has such a great energy to it. And then also the love story is incredibly strong as well. I mean, it's classic like Romeo and Juliet, but that's a real favourite from my youth actually, which I think had a lot to do with me doing what I'm doing now. So, yeah. It was a good one. So, Shame. It took me a while to come to Shame. Actually, I saw it quite a long time after other people. But I watched it in an interesting double bill with another Black Swan, actually. And it was really interesting because this film doesn't spell things out for the audience too much. And it has these great long shots. It's a very, very much a mood piece. And I think it got a lot of unfair press because people got obsessed with the fact that there was so much sex in it, and that is part of the film, but actually people I think are just not realizing that, well, it's a symptom of actually a deeper problem that the character has. And so the sex is there, but actually it's a byproduct of the deeper problem that exists. And I just thought it was a really interesting way, because as an audience member, you had to work. You had to really be involved with it and think about it. And it wasn't telling you this is what's wrong, or this is why he's doing this. You had to kind of get there on your own. And when I watched Black Swan like almost immediately afterwards, and Black Swan, great, but it was literally, I've really felt like I was being bashed over the head with the meaning of the film. Like, this is by the way, she's the Black Swan, like in so many different ways. And it was such an amazing juxtaposition with this film, which didn't spell out anything. It just, you had to go on the journey with the character, and you took away what you took away from it at the end. And that's why I think a lot of people didn't really know how to take it, because it requires you as an audience member to look at yourself in a way that you're probably not comfortable with. Certainly for me, when I watched it, I definitely saw an aspect of myself in the character. And it really threw me through a loop, actually, which for me is, that's what a film should do. I mean, I think cinema is really important, and I think a lot of art and theatre is very important, because that's what it does. It forces you to ask yourself questions, and it helps you also get through certain issues in your life. And it makes you feel like you're not alone, actually. And so that was a big, but it was worrying, because I was looking at going, oh my God, there's parts of this character that are like me. What does that mean? But it's great, because it forces you to re-examine yourself. And yeah, that's what.
Would you have taken the part?
Would I have taken? Nah, I don't know. I don't know is the answer. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure if I'm ready for that just yet. But that's the other thing, actually, as an actor, watching another actor do things that you're not sure that you could do right now. That's another very impressive and interesting thing. Because obviously you like to think that you can do everything, but then there are certain actors who definitely do some things better than others, and can just have different amounts of access to different parts of the human psyche. And it was a very brave performance, which I really enjoyed. Yeah, it was good. It's the indie section. Actually, is this popcorn section? I know, right? Because they're the Matrix movies as well. Well, they're kind of in similar vein, yeah.
Action classics.
Action classics. Okay, so which one? So this is the first one, right? Yes. Yeah. How do you say that in German? Jäger des
verlorenen Schatzes.
Jäger des verlorenen Schatzes.
Hunter of the lost treasure.
Okay. So in English it's Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is kind of similar. So Indiana Jones. I feel like with these movies, they knew exactly what they were doing, and they wanted to make a very exciting, old-school adventure. And actually, I'm not saying that our film is like Indiana Jones, but that's almost what we did with our film, is that we wanted to make a certain type of exciting cinematic movie that takes the audience on a journey, which is definitely what the Indiana Jones movies do. And they were... I was going to say they're cheesy, but they're not cheesy. They are unashamedly popcorn movies, fun popcorn movies, which, everything from the soundtrack to the design of Indiana's clothes and all that kind of stuff, and the travelling around the world that he does, is very exciting and enjoyable to watch. And you really feel like you're going on an exciting adventure watching the movies. But it's another, fortunate thing in that they got exactly the right actor with Harrison. And then and it's also the religious aspects, like the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where it's kind of like supernatural, and they did that with the second and the third one as well, the supernatural element. But I just feel like they knew what they were going for and absolutely nailed it. And this is another movie that I had taped from the television and would watch pretty much every week when I was a kid, and I could probably even still recite the commercials that were on in between parts of the movie when I was watching it.
Are there 3 or are there 4?
There are 3 movies. There are 3 movies. There are 3 Indiana Jones movies. Because actually, the thing that I think that they've tried to, they really tried again with the 4th one. But what was sad for people who loved these ones is that there was too much, because these were so great because they're practical effects, and you felt like even though there were supernatural elements, it still felt very real. And I think with the 4th one, they went a little bit cartoony, which is, I think, what they were going for. But I think the people who love the originals, I think it was just a bit too far. But these ones, it doesn't change how great these ones are, so especially Raiders. It's a brilliant first installment.
Die Tage der Schlacht sind gezählt. Auf dem Schlachtfeld als König.
So there were some movies that I enjoyed. I hope if you haven't seen them already, you can check them out. You can also check out Medicus from the 25th of December, all over Germany. And for more information on the movie, check out Moviepilot. Thank you.